Hello everyone, this is Ivan and it's another episode of Git for Beginners series. In the previous videos, we have talked about branches and how to merge them to main branch using the pull request. Today, we're going to talk about the merge conflicts. This is something that occurs when you are merging multiple branches together. Should you be scared of it? Not really. Should you panic? Not really. Should you be a little bit careful? Yes. You ready? Let's go. So what exactly is a merge conflict? Git is very smart, and when you work on the branch on the feature 1 and your teammate work on another branch on the feature 2, and you have touched different files and you merge the branches, let's say, into main, there'll be no problems. Even if you work on the feature 1 in the, let's say, beginning of the file and your teammate works on the end of the same file, it's gonna be fine. However, if you have touched the same file and the same lines, Git is like, I don't know what to do, and I better summon the humans to help me, and merge conflict appears. So it could appear when you merging branch into a branch, when you're doing rebase, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later today, and when you cherry picking certain commits from another branch. We're not going to cover cherry picking. You can Google what it is. So enough of talking, and let's actually do an example. Before we do an example, let's draw what we're going to be planning to do. And to explain, we're going to create a little branch. We're going to modify the file. It's going to be README. We're going to create another branch. We're going to modify the file. And we're going to try to get the changes from this branch into this branch. This will be our artificial merge conflict. So let's try to do it. So in the previous video, we have covered how to create new branches and how to check out them. If you haven't watched it, there will be a link. So let's create a new branch. All right. Let's call it maybe a big feature. And by the way, we are in the Git repo. Just a reminder that this is the repo we work in. So we have created one branch. Let's check that it exists. Okay, and let's create another branch. Let's call it maybe small feature. Why we call it a small feature and why this one is called a big feature? If you have created branches from the same commit, small feature is more likely to be merged first. And if the small feature have touched the same lines of code, you'll have to deal with it in your big feature branch, right? So that's what we're trying to create artificially. So let's check out the big feature branch and modify the README file. Let's modify it. Let's just add something here to this line number 2 and just save. Let's add this file and commit it. By the way, if you don't know what we're doing, there'll be a link here. Check it out. So we're gonna say modify README. That's good enough. So let's look at our status. We are on this branch and we have made one commit. So if we check out the small branch now, let's check the Git status. There's nothing here at all. So we need to modify the README as well. So let's say I will cause suffering. and one more line. So because we modify the same line, the Git will not know what to do with it. So let's add this file and let's commit it. Update. Okay, so let's have a look at a log of last two commits. So what are we seeing here? We have this commit we just made, and this was our previous commit. So this is our previous commit. This is a commit of a small feature. If we switch the branches, actually there's a convenient command in Git which allows you to switch between the last two branches. We haven't covered it yet, so today I learned situation. You could switch between the two branches like that. So as you can see that I'm now jumped into the big feature branch over here, and if I look at the log of the big feature branch, is you see we modified the readme and this one. So we basically recreated the situation of what we have planned to do, and at this point in time we are ready to actually start a merging process and see how the merge conflict looks like. So the syntax of the command is quite obviously git merge something something. Reminder that you can always do the -- help to see the help that Git gives you. So we say git merge. We are on the big feature branch, so we say git merge small feature. Okay, so it tells us that there is a conflict. And if we look at git status, we can see that I have a file which has not been resolved. And if I look at the git diff of what's the actual thing, it will show me what's the difference. So let me just explain you a little bit what these things are. So we are on the big feature branch, and our head, which is our pointer to the current commit, is, so this is our content on our branch. The equal signs are just a separator between the two, and this is what the code which is coming from this branch. So you can see that we have, this is the line we added for the big feature. This is the lines we have added to the small feature. So now let's edit the file and actually resolve it. Okay, so I'll just do it manually because it's simple enough to do. So we know that we just want to merge them together, and maybe I want to say even more code goes after that, right? So maybe I know that this is how it should be. Always test your code after you have modified it, because you could accidentally break it. So, but for the README, it looks good enough. It's readable. I can understand what's going on. We just merged two files together because we want to have both changes. So let's save it. Let's exit. Let's clear. And let's say git status again. And let's say git diff again. So you can see that we have merged the file. We remove these incoming arrows and equal signs. So to continue the merge, you need to do merge minus continue command. As you can expect, this probably will not work. Yes. So the thing is, Git tells you what you need to do. So you need to actually add this file, and then you can continue the merge. So what's gonna happen? Let me actually show you the git status. You see that we have added the file to staging, and now if we do continue merge, git will help us to say, okay, so you need to create a merge commit. For me, it's good enough, so I'm just gonna close it, and it have created this commit. So if we look at the git status, I'm up to date. If you look at the git log of the last 3 commits, you can see that modify readme. Actually, I should show you the last 4. -4. So that was where we branched, right? Then we have made a change, modify readme here. Then we have made a change, update readme for small feature here. And then we merge them together. So now in this scenario, let me just draw it for you. We have another commit on this big feature branch. Let's call it BF, and this is small feature SF. So now we have, well, that arrow is not quite accurate, right? That's what happened. We took this change and we have created a new commit here, which is the one I have selected here. That easy. Now let's talk about the rebase. So I'm gonna run a reset command, and we haven't covered it yet. It's coming in the next video, but basically what it does, it resets the state of my repo and moves the head back 1 commit. So essentially I'm gonna delete this commit and just point to that one. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna look at my repo, and I'm gonna look at the git log -3. So you see that I only have modify readme, which is this one. So I have drawn it here. So now we're gonna talk about the rebase, and I just recovered the state when I have a big feature branch and a small feature branch, and each has a commit which touching the readme. So what is rebase? So difference of the rebase is that it actually creates a new commit history. It takes all your changes and try to branch of the given commit or the branch and apply them on top. So we're gonna draw it. So basically what's gonna happen if we try to rebase this branch is it's gonna just create a new one like that. Ideally you would merge this one into main first, and then you rebase off main, and it's gonna look like that. But we are short in time, so we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna rebase off the small feature. So let's see how it's gonna look. So we have shown that we have deleted the commit, and we just need to say git rebase small feature. Okay, so it tells me that there is a conflict, right? And if you do the git status, it will show you that yes, it's indeed readme that is modified, and rebase is in progress, right? So let's have a look at the git diff. Now, the interesting thing that the head and incoming is reversed. You remember when we did the merge, it was the other way around. We were on this branch, and the coming changes were I will cause suffering. And now the head is I will cause suffering, which is this one, and we are trying to apply our even more code to that one. So it's inverted, swapped, if you wish. So that's the main difference between the two. So let's edit and resolve the conflict. Okay, I know that I want to have even more code here, and I know that I don't need this line, don't need this line, don't need this line. Okay, so this looks good. So let's have a look at that. Same thing that another difference between the rebase and the merge is that you don't have to create a new commit. So in the rebase situation, you can just say rebase continue, and it should just work. Oh, of course, I need to add the file first. I forgot about that. So adding the file, you need to do what I screwed it up. Git add readme. Let's clear the screen, and then we say git rebase continue. Okay, so if we look at the history now, you see the history have changed slightly, right? So this is our commit, which is this one. This is readme for the small feature. And this is our readme, which we took from here and applied on top of the small feature branch. Another noteworthy thing is that this commit's hashes are completely new. So it's a new commit, which is an important distinction. One more note about the git rebase is that git rebase is potentially more dangerous command. So be careful what you're using. If you use the PR strategy with the squash, which we talked in the previous video about, you don't really need to do rebase. There is a big debate going on between the community, what's better, rebase or merge, and some teams might have different rules that you'll have to follow. But personally, I think the merge is fine, even if you have to do it a few times, just because it's a safest option you have. And if you squash commit, you don't really care. If you squash and you say, add the new big feature, your commit history is tidy and clean, and you don't really need to do all the hassle with the rebase. Previously, I loved rebase more. Now, I grew up and I'm like, merge is the thing. So let's summarize. There are gonna be conflicts when you merge in things. You'll have to resolve them as a developer or as a tester. You will have to know how to do it. Take your time, use git log and git diff to figure out what it is. Take your time, don't rush, because it's easy to screw up accidentally and you don't really want to do that. But that's pretty much it. It's not super scary and it's all doable, as you've just seen. See you next time.